Alright, today we're having a look at upgrading our ship here, the Silhouette. If you guys saw the last video, then you saw everything that went into it, how it was put together and such like that. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check that video out. For now, we're going to have a look at the upgrades. Since I've shown you the build of it and everything like that, I want to show you the upgrades of this particular ship here. Our little kind of stealth bomber looking Delta Wing ship. It's our pirate fighter ship. Have a look at upgrading this, and let's go ahead and, now that I have more, I've changed ships, let's get some, so I want to have a look at upgrading the reactor, although here's the thing.
Need my help?
Yeah, so I want to have a look at upgrading the reactor. Let's go ahead and show you the ship. It was in the last video. If you haven't seen it, we showed the entire build of this, and then I also want to have a look at this. This ship I teased and showed at the beginning of the last video. I want to get more into this ship. This is my faithful remake of one of my favorite ships in the game, the Varun Him, or I believe it's called the Galileo at the Starship seller. You can buy one in New Atlantis. We'll talk about this ship. This is my faithful rebuild of it. It should be the exact same size and everything, just a little bit more style and a lot more room. But we'll have a look at this in a minute. First, let's take our pirate ship to a place where we can look at upgrading the reactor. Now that we can get a bigger reactor, we can do that. And that's what I'm doing here in these videos. Instead of just showing just the ship build, I'm going to take you with me and you can help me figure some stuff out and build these and make them better. Since I built this ship about 20 levels ago or so, I didn't have all the best stuff unlocked. So I'm going through now upgrading it to the best it can be. And also, I mentioned showing you this ship build before. I wanted to show you guys this ship build, but I haven't yet, and so that's what we're doing. And now the thing is, with the reactor power it has, with my bonuses and everything like that, it's putting out that much power, and we're only using that much. So we can stack a lot more weapons on this guy. This guy could become a much more formidable fighter. However, limited mobility because we only have 3 engines. So, I mean, the mobility is good, don't get me wrong. The mobility is good at 76. But adding more weapons and stuff like that can drop it. And so too might the reactor, and that's what we're going to have a look at here. Alright, it's an absolutely dreary day here in my outpost on Ixtal 2. Absolutely dreadful day. But the ship is lit up like a Christmas tree. Alright, so let's have a look at the shipbuilder here, because I know that I think that we could buy the biggest reactor here. We couldn't where I was at Neon. I like to build ships at Neon because you have 2 dealerships there with custom parts, or not custom, but unique parts, you know. And it has a wide array of everything, but it does not have the best reactor, which is the B39. Well, for B class, it's the best reactor. Here it is. It's got a little more mass. Actually, not that much more. Only like 2 more. Whoa, does it have less? You know, I thought when I upgraded to a bigger reactor, I thought mass was going to be an issue, but it's actually going to save us mass going up to a 39. Look at that. See, this is why I wanted to upgrade it. I honestly did not know that. This is going to move us up, 4 more reactor points. Luckily, it snaps right in the same place, thankfully. Let's go ahead and paint it the same colors. So let's want to select one of these. Go back, go forth, accept. And now we can just go here. Color. Oh, it's just black. Yeah, well, it might be a custom black. I don't know. I think it's a custom black. Alright, there we go. So put my custom colors on it. Now, it already had too much reactor power as it was. Now it's going to have, it had 41 usable reactor points. Now it's going to have 45. And that's just with my stuff the way it is. I don't even have any crew members at the moment to add more reactor power. That's a lot to distribute. We can certainly put some more weapons on it. Being B class, I think these are already arguably the best particle weapons you can get on it is these guys here. Of course, people always go back and forth. When I say what weapons I use, people have definitely different opinions. And particle beams is just one way to go. There's lots of ways to fight. This particular ship is 4 particle beam weapons and then 1 EM weapon. Hey, sometimes I like ballistic and laser. Sometimes I like particle beam. Particle beam is easy because you can just hold down one button and burn down the enemy. Ship combat in this game is definitely not terribly hard, so pretty much anything that does damage will get you through, and this ship definitely gets you through. But that said, we have unspent reactor points now. I mean, we already had like 3 or 4 unspent points, and now we have 4 more. So let's have a look. Of course, from my experience, our outpost is not the best place to equip weapons. I don't think you can get the best ones here. Well, we can get the Vanguard here, actually. Problem with the Vanguard weapons, these are definitely considered to be some of the best weapons in the game. They are ginormous. And of course, I mentioned Class C ships. You can do pretty much everything you want with the Class B ship. The advantage of Class C ships is the weapons, and that definitely couldn't be truer with the Vanguard weapons, because there is a gnarly Class C Vanguard weapon right here. This pulse laser is just 23 damage. That's pretty good. With a fire rate of 6. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's the one I was thinking of. I thought there was a particle one. Oh, there is. Here it is. Yeah, 19 damage, fire rate of 4. That's really not bad. That's... Oh, yeah, but the thing that really kills it is power usage 3. Okay, power usage 3. What was this one? Is this... Some of these are only 2. That's actually 4. The particle beams we're using on here are 3. There is a Vanguard weapon that only has a power usage of 2. And it's insane, because you can put like 6 of them on your ship. But they're giant. And with this, I do take looks somewhat into consideration. These only have a max power of 2, so you could actually put 6 of these autocannons on your ship. And that is insane damage. Look at that. Fire rate of 7.5. These are only Class B weapons. Fire rate of 7.5, hull damage 19, basically, right? And you could put 6 of these on here. They really break up the design of this ship. The ship's all about sleek and smooth and stuff like that. I mentioned the lack of attach points. Yeah, there are no side attach points anywhere except right here, but that's right behind the engines. See, with this ship, I spoke a lot about the build philosophy and stuff in the last video, how the inspiration for the ship was kind of like the B-2 bomber. I wanted the cockpit and the engines on top of the wing. That is like pretty much the only like stipulating rule I had when building this ship, and so thus the engines are where they are. And this attachment point can't be used because I don't want to block the engine. That would just look bad. So anyway, these are the only 2 side attachments we have, and I don't want to use them. So that leaves weapon room only on the top and bottom of the wings. And I don't want to break up the shape of the ship. That said, we could possibly put something here. Okay, we can only go with Class B. Now we got particle beams. What else could we possibly want? I mean... More ballistic damage actually couldn't hurt. Particle beams damage both shield and hull, of course. But if you really want to tear stuff up, we could add lasers or ballistic to it. Of course, we could always add more particle beams, but I think ballistic would be cool to add to it, because then you could just really rip hulls apart once you get the shield down. Where was that gun that I saw? It's the Vanguard. I think it's hands down the best ballistic weapon. It's got to be, with only a power usage of 2, serious damage and serious rate of fire. It will actually go there. What do you guys think? I think it looks a little bit yeah, it's the problem with these guns. I've never found occasion to use them because... Can we stuff them here? Actually, huh. Oh, yeah, what do you think? I'm gonna have to pass on that. Dang it. You know, I thought I found a cool place to tuck them away, but not blocking the engines. I do take aesthetics into account pretty heavily. So they're going to have to go under the ship, which means we can move some stuff up from the bottom. Like, for instance, okay, the comm spike here. This can go here. Put this under the wing here. Out of the way. Will that block the engine? Yeah, you'd see it. You'd see the outline of it in space. So we can... It's so flat, we can tuck it. We can tuck that right there. Yeah, I get creative with space a little bit. This is why I wanted to do this kind of video and like build as I go. Figure stuff out. So instead of just showing you a finished product. And, oh, very nice. That will go there. Well, I could make it... I guess I could make it go there. And you know what? It's actually not a bad point. We can always glitch stuff. If I don't like the looks of these guns, we can always glitch them somewhere. Let's have a look at that, just as a thought. So in order to do that, we're going to want to pull off this wing. There's only one way I know to glitch stuff. I'm sure there's other ways. You guys feel free to share tricks you know in the comments. This way I figured out myself. It's the only way I know. Put that gun there. And then what we'll do is snap this in here. Let it sit there, flip it, and back out. And that'll put the wing there. Now, we can get away with that. What do you think? I think, you know what? I think for the sake of ship design, I think it works out. Part of the gun is clipped through the wing. Yeah, but look at it this way. A, it's not clipped through a hab module, so you're not going to see weird clipping inside the ship. And B, it really, they got to be the ugliest darn guns in the game, hands down. And that really hides them, even though it does cover up one of the barrels. Who's really looking that close at his ship? You know what I mean? So, yeah. So let's do the other one over here. Same way. Just pop this guy out. Pop this guy out. Pop him in here. And let it snap and then flip it. And back out. There we go. Alright. So we can definitely put 2 more of those guns on here. We can maybe put right below it. Yeah, symmetry. How about that? Put these guys here. So that gives us 8 more points reactor power, or 8 more points taken from the reactor. Of course, when you're fighting, you don't have to power your weapons up all the way. It really just comes down to reload speed. If you have enough guns like we have here, you're going to destroy anything you want to destroy in one pass, really. Reload speed is not much of a concern. We don't have to power these up more than halfway. That said, yeah, add more weapons if you want. This is really pretty good. I'd like to try this out in combat some, and perhaps we can get to that in the next video, because in this video I also like to look at the other ship that I showed you. I kind of want to do both of those. I showed a little bit of that one in the last video and some of this one. So here we get the upgrading done. So we went up a reactor class, or not a class, but we went up in reactor by 4 points while staying in the same reactor class. That is the best B class reactor you can get, and it's only 1 point shy of the best C class even. So that's a killer reactor, and I'll be damned it saved us mass. So we didn't lose any mobility at all adding these weapons on. Weapons only have a mass of 1, but this ship only having 3 engines, because I wanted to keep it with the look that I was going with. We're limited on how much stuff we can tack onto it. Keep the smooth aerodynamic shape of it, keep this smooth shape. And as I mentioned in the last video, placing the hab so you don't see through it, because the ship is so flat. It's flat like a cracker. You want to use these square habs so they don't leave any space to see through, except for right here. Right here you can see through the ship, because that piece has got a triangle corner on it. But that's it. There's no way to get around that. Alright, anyway, moving on. We need to attach the comm spike and that conduction grid, or whatever it is, back on. Yeah, conduction grid. Where can we put these? So we could put these here. I don't think they're too bad here. The comm spike is actually kind of cool looking, really. It kind of almost looks like an air intake. Not that a spaceship would need an air intake, but it's what it looks like. It looks like a roof air scoop off a rally car or something, Those are okay there. I see no issue with that. It's not hurting my design any. There's no snapping points on the bottom that we haven't used. Nah, this ship is pretty full up on that. Alright, so I think we've got this thing pretty fully armed. We need to assign these new ballistics. So I'm using an Xbox controller. Of course, I'm playing on PC, but I prefer to use the controller. So right trigger is the particle beam. Left trigger is the... Now, let's put the suppressor on the Y button on top. And we'll put the autocannons, the hull damage will be on the left trigger. And then the Y button, again, I'm on controller. I don't know what it is on keyboard. I have no clue. We'll put the suppressor up here. Alright. So... right trigger mows everything down. Left trigger, if you absolutely want to destroy the target. I mean, those weapons are as powerful as some of the C-class weapons that require 4 power each. That's how powerful those guns are, and they require half that amount of power. 4 of those guns is just stupid. So we can burn down stuff with the right trigger, and if you absolutely want to destroy them, hit those autocannons on. And if you don't want to destroy him, if you want to capture him, we have this EM weapon here. We could actually have another one of these EM weapons, but one is really enough. These do pretty good. Once you eat through the shield, this will kill an engine pretty quick, actually. So, for only 52,000 credits, we managed to bring this up to snuff to where I'm absolutely satisfied with it. We could possibly go with a smaller and less massive grav drive, though. Let's actually have a look at that. This grav drive has a thrust of 36, which we don't need all of that thrust because we're capped at a 30-year jump range. So it's actually possible that we could go less, and grav drives definitely get more massive with more thrust. So let's go to Class B, and let's see what we're working with here. So here's the one we have, and it's got a mass of 90. If we go down to, see, we can drop, see, 17 mass by going down to this, and we were at 76 mobility. This takes up to 78, and down 1 light year. Alright, so yeah, actually we can go in between that. Right here, there's a 33 reactor with about 10 less mass or so than what we had, about 9 less. Ooh, this is even lighter. This is even lighter. 29-year jump range. I mean, if you really want to keep it maxed at 30, which... Here we go. We get... Okay, so 1 more mobility. You know, is that worth 19,000 credits? Sure. For the sake of bringing you guys the best ship build, sure. Let's go ahead and color this guy our custom black that we have everywhere. Ooh, wow, it colors black really nicely all the way around. Ooh, that is sleek. I'm glad I went with that. So we maintained our 30-year jump range. We have better hull, better mass, and better mobility. That is what I call a successful ship upgrade, guys. We are better all around. I'd love to see that. All blue numbers lighting up the bottom and a blue nominal in the bottom right. Very sweet stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to accept this. And yeah, so those of you who didn't see the first video, I'll show you the interior. Again, in the previous video, I went through and showed you the entire build of the ship, how it was all put together. Oh, the name didn't stick. I renamed it the Silhouette. It didn't stick. It just wants to keep calling this thing the pirate ship. I forget what the original name was, but upon undertaking a certain mission, the game renamed it Pirate Ship, and I haven't been able to rename it anything since. So, regardless, the Silhouette, as I'm calling it, we come into the dock here in our workshop in the foremost hab module. Our captain's quarters is actually right behind it. There's no door there, but that's okay. Sometimes the game decides not to put doors in obvious places. That's okay. Because our ladder up is right here, which goes straight up to the dock, and the cockpit is right above there. So it's actually pretty handy the way all the entrances line up. Now, from our workshop here in the fore section of the bottom deck, on the port side, we have an all-in-one hab for the crew to rest and relax. On the starboard side, we have computer core. It does add the possibility of 1 more crew member. And also, I love the looks of this. This looks like a stealthy, high-tech battleship, and so here's like the secret computer core of it or something, you know. This is purely cosmetic, but it does have a crew station in it. Then here's our cozy captain's quarters, one of my favorite ones, the Hope Tech captain's quarters. It's all dark and cozy with a little L-shaped couch and your little kitchen area, espresso maker, and your little recessed bed in there. It's one of my favorites.
Hey, Captain.
And so there's that, and then upstairs, the top deck. Yeah, somehow we get away with 6 hab modules in this flat ship. Well, that's because the hab modules kind of make up the bottom wing. So yeah, we have 4 hab modules in the bottom, and up here we have the control station 4, and then aft we have the armory back here. All right, and yeah, once you come up, of course, the cockpit is directly in front of you. Now I want to go have a look at some on our other ship. I want to talk about some on this. We'll continue this in the next video. This one right here, which I haven't bothered to rename. It's called the Umber because I built it off of a ship with that name. I forgot to rename it, or I couldn't think of one. But we'll get a name for this. And this is my my rebuild of, again, I believe it's called the Galileo in the game. So for now, I want to go have a look at that so I can see exactly what ship it is I'm talking about. And then, yeah, so let's do that now. Alright, so now that we're out here in space, I just thought let's go ahead and check the power distribution of our new setup. And, wow, look at that. With the current skills and bonuses I have, I can completely power everything up, which is not even close to being necessary with the amount of firepower that this thing can pump out. I mean, look at this firepower. You don't need to reload on this thing at all. Those Vanguard autocannons are just ridiculous. That is top tier damage and fire rate, and wow, I mean, that is just Okay, let's not be doing this in Alpha Centauri unless we accidentally hit a passing UC ship. Let's go ahead and land here on New Atlantis, because I want to have a look at the inspiration for the next ship I want to show you guys. And then, of course, we can do some, we can talk some more about this ship in another video, because this, the silhouette here is definitely something that's coming along quite well. And where do I want to land here? I think this. You know, I wish we could just land on the pad. I'm going to be honest. I wish we could just land on the pad and have the animation, but so I'm trying to find the landing spot that puts us on the pad. Yeah. All right, now here we are in New Atlantis on the pad with our silhouette ship, and I want to have a look at the Hem, which is the ship that inspired the build of the one that's upcoming next video. Of course, I call it the Hem. In the dealership, it's known as something else. Here we go. This right here. I'm sure you guys have seen these flying around. The Varun have them again, yeah, and they're all black. I see them a lot in combat. I don't think I've ever seen this, save for here, for sale, in New Atlantis. And it's just like, it's the coolest looking ship. You know, it's one that I didn't, as much as I like to be original with my ship designs, I didn't want to change anything up with this design. I wanted to keep it the exact same dimensions, the exact same pieces, and everything like that. But I wanted to have more hab room, meaner, badder weapons, just better everything. But still keep it the same dimensions in every single direction. You know, definitely upgrade it from Class A, because here its mobility is not the best. And adding storage and hab space to this is a no-no. You're never going to make it a Class A. So I had to keep the same everything. So how do we upgrade all of that stuff and keep the same look and dimensions and everything? Well, it's with making it a Class B. And here you can see I've used, so we'll talk about this in the next video. Here I've used, again, I will rename it. It's just got the name of the ship that came before it. It's the same engines from the same manufacturer, just they're the Class B version. And these are, and still only has 2 engines. Again, I wanted to stay completely faithful to the look of the Galileo because I just love the look of it. We filled up the empty space in the middle here with habs, so it's got tons of just gorgeous hab space in there, but not too much. Not so much you get lost, and that's what I want to try to do, you know. Not so much you get lost in, but more hab space, more space for everything, storage space, and a curvier shape with those 2 Nova cowlings on the inside. It gives it this cool mantis-like, you know, look to the reaching to the outer wings. The same air intake on the front, same absolute everything. And it also only has 2 engines. The reactor and the grav driver in the same places, except they're Class B. Moved up a notch there. Even I believe the windows are in the same places. I did put little round caps on the back of the wings there, just my own touch to make them look a little smoother. Other than that, here we've recreated the Galileo. And it's supersized, more fuel, more weapons, more storage, more power, more hab room, and I'm quite proud of it because miraculously the ship is the exact same size. So I'll be featuring this in the next video. Tell me what you think about that and what you think we might want to name it. I'll be doing that video probably in the next day or so, so maybe if you guys have some ideas, throw those down in the comments, because I don't have an idea for a name yet. I spent a lot of time and definitely a lot of money building this. This was possibly a 400,000 credit build, possibly. Actually, it says value 228,000. I think that means that's basically what I put into it. Is that possible? Really? Only 228,000? Either way, it was not a cheap build because I did not buy a Galileo and modify it. I built this from scratch. I just looked at the Galileo in the shipbuilder or in the for sale thing, and then wrote down the parts and made it from scratch myself because I didn't want to have to pay like 200 grand for their ship, you know, and then scrap all the parts. Yeah, it's cheaper to build it from scratch. Now this, however, has a lot of glitching parts in it. I showed you some parts glitching on the silhouette. This has a lot of parts glitching. That said, nothing is unimmersive, as nothing clips in weird ways. It's just some parts of this didn't want to go with other parts. But there's so few snapping points to keep the silhouette of the Galileo. I wanted everything exactly where it was, and so yeah, this has some tricky stuff. Of course, first and foremost being that cockpit. That cockpit should not go there, but hey, they have it there, so I put it there. Now I'll go over all of that in the next video. Wow, this thing is just beautiful. Could use some better weapons, perhaps. Well, we'll have a look at that. We'll have a look at the weapons and stuff like that, because I'm looking at them now. 6 laser, only 6, and 30 ballistic. Well, we'll have a look at what I chose for the weapons and everything like that next time. All right, guys. Yeah, mostly it was about the looks. And man, it's still a beautiful ship. Tell me what you guys think. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time as we build some more ships. All right, guys, peace out.